Okay, here we go. I've opened up the criteria worksheet for our typography project in Illustrator. It's really important that you open it up in Illustrator. And I've unlocked the layers where you can actually input text. And I'm just going to kind of go through each section so that you can maybe receive clarity for this assignment. This is really important as you're assessed on these criteria for this project, and this kind of gives you a chance to present that and kind of justify what you've done, and if that makes any sense. So on the left you'll see the criteria in bold, and then it kind of gives you a guide prompt of what you'll discuss. So talk about the need for your solution. So this typeface that did not exist previously, talk about how now that you've created it, it meets a specific target audience, or uh, it can be used for a specific client, and then talk about how it's successful, maybe in a very general way, but just talk about the general need for the solution, and then how your typeface adds something new. Then you go below and then talk about the other typefaces or existing products that you looked at. It doesn't necessarily have to be at other typefaces. It could be other kinds of things that inspired you, but we do need to see kind of your analysis of the existing products. And so it probably makes the most sense for that to be a graphic design type and a typeface. So you can put some of those images in here, and you've already done this in your journal, but this is kind of like a digital documentation of that. So you can add, I would say, at least 3. It could be from a poster, it could be a type specimen. Just talk about how you explored existing typefaces, how you evaluate them, and again, you're going to kind of think about how you would use that own criteria to evaluate your own work. Then in this next section, you'll give us the client and target audience. When I've been meeting with you guys individually, I've stressed the importance of choosing a specific client, an actual real-life client, because that'll kind of give you more ideas of who your target audience actually is. You put that information here. What sort of media will it be used? Perhaps your typeface is really supposed to be used for print, or it's really works well on digital platforms. You can talk about how it works, across multiple platforms. Maybe it's good for logos. Just think about that. Where could it be seen? How could it be used? And that kind of leeways into your intended function. What's the intended function? What do you want this to do? Is this when you're making this typeface? Where did you really see it living? Storefront design. Is it a typeface that is comparable to something like Helvetica or Futura, something that's modern, sans serif? If you need to watch that history of type again, that might give you some ideas of function. What kind of personality does it convey? That's kind of a general question, and answer that how you see fit. Next page, talk about the range of ideas that you created. So everybody did at least 3, right? You did something on FontStruct, you did something by hand, and you did something through Illustrator. And so you should maybe provide images of each of those trials, and those we could also call those feasible design ideas. And you used different mediums to do those as well. So include that type of work that you made, and then talk about how you explored those, and you can even discuss how you came to a specific decision. So maybe you are working in FontStruct, elaborate on why you chose to use that medium or that methodology to create your work. Perhaps it's being able to download it and then use that in other types of applications. That could be one reason. So just to give you an example, and moving forward, show us, you can take screenshots of your typeface diagram specimen, and then your context poster you can put right next to it, and then present your design. And then give us some more information about your final product. Criterion C here demonstrates excellent technical skills and then follow the plan to create. Those two you don't have to do anything for. That's a byproduct of you making your work. But this part right here where it says fully justifies changes, maybe you made changes, maybe during our meeting when you printed a rough draft, you made some adjustments. Talk about adjustments that you made as you made your work. So you might have to go back into your file and zoom out and see all the things that you made. We'll talk about the changes that you made. Go retrace your steps and then kind of discuss that. In the last part, critically evaluates the success of the solution. Come up with some criteria for you to evaluate how successful is this. This is really hard. How do you determine if your design works? Well, if we were trying to create a pen, we could evaluate that. Or if we talked about food trucks, what makes a good food truck? That's a little bit easier. But for a typeface, talk about why is it successful. You can go back and think about your target audience. How do you test the success of a typeface? This is harder than you think, but I want you to spend some time thinking about that. Once you've done that, then you might be able to talk about how it can be improved, and then also the impact of the product. And dream big here. Maybe it's becomes a logo of a very big client. For example, the Coca-Cola typeface is very, very specific, and it's based off of handwriting in cursive script. But that typeface actually has a huge impact on the identity of Coca-Cola. I think we associate Coca-Cola and its identity as a worldwide, world-renowned beverage, and the image we have in our head is the actual typeface, or many of us anyway, the colors red and white and some other. So you think about what's the potential impact that your typeface could have on your audience. Okay, and there's another page at the end I included that you can include anything else you want to. It could be images, it could be text, but it's just an extra page for you to use how you see fit. But that's a little explanation on the criteria worksheet. This is, again, it's a little bit tedious, but it's very important for wrapping up the project. And again, like always, if you have questions about this, please let me know. Thanks.